Have you ever wanted to make a difference for others in aviation? We're talking with someone who did just that in the hangar.
I used to be a well-respected member of the aviation community, and then I started flying to Cirrus, and that changed.
Oh, that was great until the engine quit.
And all of a sudden I see these explosions and these trees exploding.
I'm walking away a better pilot because of this discussion.
Welcome to In the Hangar. I'm Christy Wong, at Pilot Christy. And today we're here with guest Natalie Kelley of FlyGirl. Thank you so much for joining us.
Christy, good to see you again.
Good to see you again. All right, well, let's just jump right into it. Natalie, who are you and what is FlyGirl?
Well, I am Natalie FlyGirl Kelley, and FlyGirl is, well, people ask me that all the time, and I think it's a lot of things. It's a social media community of supporters, and it is also, you know, it's a logo on some products that I have, and it's also a company that gives scholarships for women that want to learn to fly.
Okay, so why did you decide to do this? Like, where did because you're so passionate about it, where did this passion come from?
Well, I started flying later in life, I like to say. It was just 3 years ago when I started flying.
When you were
And-
like, what, 27?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. My dad was a pilot. I always wanted to learn to fly. I used to fly with my uncle, and it was something that I always wanted to do. And then about 3 years ago, you know, timing is like everything, I feel like. And the timing was perfect. I have teenagers. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and I don't know, I had more free time at that point, and I really felt like, well, for many years, I felt like I wasn't really using my gifts to be who I was supposed to be. And when I decided to take lessons, and I mean, with each lesson, my confidence grew, things really changed in me, and I started really feeling a sense of fulfillment in what I was
That
doing.
is super relatable, by the way.
Good. I think being a stay-at-home mom is really tough because you don't get a lot of, you know, gratification from your kids, and then you're not really sure if you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
You know,
you don't get the feedback. You're like, you can't really give them a comment card like, am I a good mom today?
Right, because
No, I
you're
get
usually
that.
not. So they're
Right.
usually like, no, I can't.
So let me ask you this question. Was there anything in particular that stopped you earlier in life from pursuing becoming a pilot?
Oh gosh, well, I would say I didn't have a lot of confidence growing up, for sure. I'm not really sure why exactly, but I think with time and I guess raising kids, you teach them to be confident. And I had talked about wanting to fly for a long time, and it came to a point where I thought, I really need to do this as a demonstration to them that it's never too late, and you need to pursue things that you're interested in and find the time, carve out the time, and make it happen. And that's kind of what I wanted to do for them, and also for me as well, to see that I could do that.
No, I definitely get that. I mean, you know, I have kids too, and I wanted to be able to do the exact same thing. Guys, look, if you really want something, then nothing's going to stop you as long as you're willing to put in the work.
Right.
And you did, because I've watched your videos, I've seen what you've done, and the thing about you is that not only did you do all of this, but you also take the time to edit and you run this foundation and stuff. So let's talk about FlyGirl and the foundation that you have that supports others.
Okay. Well, I'll start with how it all started. When I was flight training, I live in Cincinnati, and I went to Sportys and did my flight training there. And Sportys, if you want to pay me a little dividend for saying that,
You know, Sporties, just in case you haven't heard of them.
I'll take it. But and when I was there, I loved the school, and you know, like I was saying, the growth in me, it really was like, I want other women to feel this. I want other women to see that they can do this at any stage in their life. And so, and I was looking for clothes to wear that demonstrated I'm a female pilot, I'm into flying, and I decided to come up with a logo, and I asked them if they would be willing to put them on some shirts and sell them. And they were like, yeah, sure, we'll try it and see how it goes. So, very grateful to them for that. And then I thought, okay, how can I use these? Now I have a visual, but what else can I do to try to get women into flying? And that's when the scholarship kind of came to mind, where I thought I could use the proceeds to fund scholarships. And of course, I got on social media and started posting what I was doing and progress, and really connected with a lot of people on social media, which I think is great, a great tool
Hey, that's how we met.
for cheerleading. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a great
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have made it if it weren't for social media.
No, I mean, absolutely. Social media is very
You can see what others are doing,
beneficial.
and I feel like women are very supportive in this arena. Maybe not always in other things, like being moms, we can be so competitive with each other and how our kids are doing. Oh, my kid's doing great. But with the piloting, I think we all knew what everyone was going through and weren't so hard on each other.
Yeah.
And then so then the scholarship came about. I've given away 3 at this point, and that's just fueled my fire even more, and just made me want to do more.
That's
more
amazing.
And more.
So what exactly are the scholarships? What are they for? Are they for supplies, flight training? What
Therefore,
exactly?
Well, the first one was only given out there at Sportys, my first winner. And then it became, people were reaching out from all over the world, really, and wanting to know how they could get this scholarship. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I need to open it up nationwide. And so then it's really for anything. It could be an advanced rating. It could be the private pilot training. I ask for an essay to hear a little bit about their aviation goals and their history. I like to see their logbook to see how much skin they have in the game, how much time they've really put into it. And people that are like me, I probably more relate to. It's for really any age can apply. But I feel like the older you are, you don't have access to things like school loans and like
Right.
some of the younger kids do. So I kind of gravitate more towards kind of older or career changers, And then I like to see if you have a first class medical. I want to know if you're going to go far that you can make it that far.
Right. And that's actually really important.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of people that I've met that have really had some hiccups with the medicals, and that's a shame. But it's not. It's not that it doesn't end everything.
One of the best pieces of advice I think I ever got from anybody was when I was doing my commercial training, I had a 3rd class medical, and it was go get your 1st class medical. Find out if there's anything right now that's preventing you from going all the way. And so I thought on it for a little bit, and I did. And fortunately, I was able to get my 1st class without a problem. But that to me was so huge. I've told several people after that. So I really like that you incorporate that as well.
Yeah, and if you can't, it doesn't mean you're automatically knocked out of the game. It's
Right.
just you need to be aware.
Of the challenges
Yeah,
ahead.
right. And
there's-
I know it's still possible. There are people that I've met that have had issues getting the first class, but they've been able to, work with the FAA and get, what do you call it when you have a...
Like an exemption.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
a waiver.
Yeah, but I think you need to know that pretty soon so you can get on top of that.
Right. So is your scholarship aimed at women then, I'm assuming?
For women, yes.
For women. By women, for women. kind of
Yes,
thing.
and it's funny, the first time that I offered it, like there was a couple of people that were really giving me some pushback on, like calling me sexist, that I was against men. And so let me just state, I have 3 sons. So I am not against men. I just relate more to women. This is what I've
Right.
experienced, and I just really wanted to, I know it's expensive for men and women, but that's who I wanted to target. And so that's kind of how it all came to be.
Yeah, and I know just from watching your social media, which by the way is a very powerful tool, like you've done giveaways, you give away swag every now and then. You do a lot just to benefit and bring together the aviation community as a whole, which I think is super cool. But if somebody wants to actually buy your shirts, where can they go?
Well, Sportys
Okay.
sells the shirts, and we are wearing some of our newest designs. Red, white, and blue are kind of my favorite colors. I am a proud American, and I've always loved red, white, and blue. So that's kind of what I use. Every once in a while, we'll have kind of a different color, but I have a marketing background. I actually was a business major or marketing major in college.
That explains so much.
And that has
actually.
really, it's funny because I have a college-age son now, and, I can use, like, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do in business, and here it is 20 years later, and kind of all this kind of came together, with the marketing. I'm able to use that, and then the aviation as well, and
Yeah.
the adventuresome side of me and my personality. It's been able to kind of all come together. It's just the perfect
No,
combination,
that is
really.
perfect. So where do you see yourself with your aviating career? Where are you at, I guess, with your ratings, and where do you want to go with it?
Well, I've got, my private, my instrument, my commercial, my multi-engine add-on, and I'm sort of working on my CFI, but I'm not like 100% in that because I do love this part. I love
Right.
the clothing. I love coming up with new products. I love the marketing. I love all of that. And I volunteer with the Commemorative Air Force as well. And my uncle flew warbirds, so I have a real love for warbirds as well. I mean, my dream would be to fly a warbird in like air shows and things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, so
You could be the next Julie Clark.
I might be.
There you go.
And I love aerobatics. That's what I used to do with my uncle. He would fly me around on Saturday afternoon, and I was like, I'm going to do this one day. So that is kind of the direction I got. Airlines, not so much, but I'd love to be able to continue with the products and the scholarships and, flying may be a hobby, but it's a way that I go to air shows, a lot, as you know, and I love to talk to women there. And there's other things women can do in aviation, other than just flying for the
Yeah.
airlines.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different things that will open up if you're open to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, and for most people that know me personally, I've lamented over which direction I'm going to go for the last 2 years almost. Lamented.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a hard, because there's so many options, and especially for women, nowadays versus, back in the day when the options were limited, like we have so many options now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's actually quite intimidating and overwhelming just as to how many options there are for us. So.
True. Well, I would say, and I kind of said the same thing to my son that's trying to pick a career path. I just feel like you need to be open to anything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with not knowing exactly where it's going to go. Like if you don't have to say, I'm going to be an airline pilot.
Right.
Because just be open to what opens up, and you meet people and there's all these different directions you could go. And I feel like you'll know, what you're really drawn to.
Absolutely.
And don't pin yourself into like one thing and don't feel bad that you don't exactly know.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's okay
Things
not
open
to
up,
know
yeah, exactly.
until you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can people support you outside of, just buying the shirts and the apparel that you have? What are some other ways that people can do to support you and your foundation?
Well, that would be my number one thing. I mean, if you buy the products, you're helping to fund the scholarships, and you're also kind of advertising to other women. It'd be like, well, what does that mean? Why are you wearing that shirt? And then it just allows a conversation about aviation, and so that's really huge to me because I want women to know that it's something that females can do and get into at any age. The other thing, on social media is just, repost, show pictures of other women doing these adventuresome things and outside of the box, so that other people don't feel like, okay, I can't do that. That's not what moms do. That's not. No, you can do whatever you want to do, and you're a unique person, and you have your own path, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let other people know that that's okay. They can do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for coming today. We really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and post some links below to Natalie's social media, including the shop where you can buy her apparel. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, if you like what you see, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time in the hangar.